Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, General, for your testimony and for your service. As I mentioned in my opening statement, your comments at CSIS indicated that despite misgivings about JCPOA, in your words, there's no going back, and short of a clear and pleasant violation, that was enough to simulate the European action as well, that we have to essentially stay the course. Is that still your view?
Sir, I think it is an imperfect arms control agreement. It's not a friendship treaty, but when America gives her word, we have to live up to it and work with our allies.
There also is, as I pointed out, and as you recognized and have pointed out much more eloquently, challenges arising from the non-nuclear aspects of Iranian conduct, proxy support, interference with shipping. In fact, there was an incident this week of provocation. How do you apply appropriate pressure to the Iranians to contain their behavior in these areas without jeopardizing the solidarity of the European and world community and the durability of the JCPOA?
Chairman, once the new national security team is confirmed, we'll work together, but I think to publicly display what Iran is up to with their surrogates and proxies, their terrorist units that they support, to recognize the ballistic missile threat, to deal with their maritime threat, and to publicly make clear to everyone what they're doing in the cyber realm all helps to constrain Iran.
Thank you. General, if you are to become the Secretary of Defense, you will be a critical component of the intelligence community. You produce intelligence through the Defense Intelligence Agency. You can consume intelligence because it is the basis of most every recommendation or decision that you would make. We are in a very unique situation where we have the President-elect disparaging the intelligence community, questioning its conclusions and questioning its motivations, suggesting perhaps that there would be some actions taken, perhaps bordering on retribution, for intelligence analysis that is being done, we presume, I certainly presume, based on the tradecraft and allegiance to the facts and the best judgment that they can make. Do you believe if you observe behavior such as that, disrupting the intelligence community, disparaging it, undermining it, ignoring it, again, I could go on, do you feel you have an obligation to the country and the Constitution to inform the committee of those actions?
Senator, I can tell you that in my many years of involvement in the military, I had a close relationship with the intelligence community. I could evaluate their effectiveness at times on a daily basis, and I have a very, very high degree of confidence in our intelligence community.
And if you see that community being undercut, not debated about their conclusions, but undercut or somehow ignored or selectively being listened to or ignored, again, do you feel you have an obligation to make us aware of this so that we can exercise our responsibilities?
I'll be completely transparent with this committee, sir, but I would not have taken this job if I didn't believe the President-elect would also be open to my input on this or any other matter.
Thank you. You have talked about the situation with respect to Russia. One aspect of that is operations in Syria. There has been some discussion of on and off during the campaign of cooperating with the Russians in Syria. Do you think there's a possibility of that, a likelihood of that, or would that be a good approach?
Senator, Russia, to quote the chairman's opening statement, has chosen to be a strategic competitor. They're an adversary in key areas, and while we should always engage and look for areas of cooperation, and even in the worst years of the Cold War, President Reagan, Secretary Shultz were able to work with Russia, the Soviet Union at that time, and reduce the nuclear weapons. So I'm all for engagement, but we also have to recognize reality and what Russia is up to, and there's a decreasing number of areas where we can engage cooperatively, and an increasing number of areas where we're going to have to confront Russia.
Thank you.